Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Ayamba Meet Greet. Good evening, Jiga.
Good evening.
I'm going to ask the first question I asked you the first time we spoke on phone. Please, which one is your name? Isaac Jiga. I know there are others who used to call you. Which one? So that when I'm referring to you this evening, I'll get it right.
Isaac Jiga Ulaka.
Isaac Jiga.
Yes.
Which one?
No.
They go
Together.
together.
Yes.
Isaac Jiga. Alright. Noted.
No.
My first question. Lie down. When we were kids, very soon, parents used to choose career for us. Then cannot say you want to be a teacher. Even though it's a teacher that is teaching us. You have to either be an engineer, doctor, pilot, and all those sweet names. Why did you to take the risk for the profession that isn't one of the big names?
That's a very interesting question. A very interesting one. I don't know if you can hear me. As I mentioned earlier, how well to hold this guy. So how do I hold it? This is better? Okay. Fine. Why not now? Let me start by saying that. Well, to answer that, I think I will have to backtrack how it all started. I'm a very story person, so I like telling you. So you follow me in my journey. Alright, so I just wanted to get the Fantine girls.
Oh.
So I started dancing. And then eventually,
Sorry, girls in the house, beware.
okay, so I started out by wanting the finest girls in my local. And why? Because there's this other guy that's not good looking as I used to be. And all that. He was getting all the fine girls. And I wanted that for myself. So that was how the whole journey started for me. And then I relocated from where I was, even though I came from um, a dance based home. I went to a church that you have to be a dancer to be in that very church. My parents were all dancers. Like they're all till date we all dance. Uh, Plus my parents, my both parents were like eight. Is it eight or nine? It were like nine. And like I'm telling you, the nine of us still can kill it. Anytime put on a bed, pretty sure we can kill it.
Please, let's pause and give him a round of applause.
So you all can still kill it. Thank you very much. You all can still kill that. So yes. So like at the age of 3, I would dance in this little square and all that. We always go out there with my immediate elder brother to dance and this girl's cash and all that. So that was like long time ago. Till when I now uh, started to understand that this is a powerful tool that you can get people because guys was getting the girls. That's how it really started for me. And the rest I think I'll tell you as well. But that's really the kickstart.
Thank you. Before I move on to my next question, I just have to comment on this. Usually, the follow-up question will be, um, so how did you get your people to agree that this is a path for you? Like, most people would say, my father said I should not do it. I wasn't allowed, I was banned, and all of that. But you are so lucky to come from a family that are into this thing that you do. They are not only into it, you also grew up in a community that supports it. So I don't think you've ever had the challenge of wondering or asking yourself who you are, like that identity crisis that all of us must have suffered at one point or another, because we're always sure of where you stand and what you need to do, right?
Yes, yes. Am I just
No, you can
Am I
affirm or
yes, yes.
yeah. All right, good. Um, this is this kind of protein, because most people would be like, whatever it is that they choose to do, it is either okay, financially they can't pursue it, and because of that, they have to now. For instance, last month we had this choreographer who said, a question from the audience. Somebody was asking, please, he has a job and everything, and he wants to know if he can also do photography in addition to the job. And our guest was, oh, please go for it. Like there is no too much. It was believe in you could do more than one thing, and so people would say they are struggling. This is one thing that they love, but this is what brings in money, and so we have to do this. But I don't think you have to wonder about that. Not yet. Wait, no, we'll get to that question. Okay. So, moving on. I am I am the worst dancer. Like, you need to see how I was feeling myself. If somebody was filming me, that last step, I had this look on my face, like, I have danced. Today I have danced. He has the evidence. I would watch dance and be interested in it and be amazed at how people are capable of moving their bodies. But today, that is not what I want us to talk about. I want us to talk about the stories behind the dance. When you danced it the first time, all we saw was very good dancers, right? Interesting. But until you broke it down to phases and told us this is what this is saying, and then everybody, it wasn't just about us learning the dance right now, it's that we know what we are doing, we know what it means, we know the story behind it. So for people who just come into a place and just want to watch you dance, how are you able to use your dance to tell a story without words? Like you don't have the time to sit back and explain to the audience that this is what this is, so you just dance. How do you use that to pass your message across?
Wow. How do I use dance to pass message across without necessarily illustrating
With words.
with words and all of that? Well, for about some years ago, it was a case of guesswork. Yeah, not considering a lot of things. Like now, I approach the same thing differently. So now, then I created most of the words I was doing was for myself. So there are like three schools to it. One of the schools is art for entertainment, and the other one is art for artsy. So over the years, what I've been doing is art for artsy.
You're just enjoying this.
For me, I was doing it for me. And then if you are true to your art, somehow, just somehow, people enjoy it. Truth, though, you don't have to explain truth. Somehow, you just connect when you're very, very sincere with yourself. I'm speaking from personal experiences where, like I said, I'm wiser now, so I'm very logical about things. I can explain why, and I'm not very great. I can tell you this is a way, this is how I want you to respond to my work. But as an amateur, many years ago, it wasn't. It was just a guesswork, and the people just connect the magical stuff. Yeah. For now, if I want you to understand my work, if I want to tell you a story, I am deliberate about it. I create having you in mind. Yes, I have you in mind from showing one to like to the end, I have you in mind. And to get you to, of course, like I said, I create having you in my mind, so I know what I want to tell you, I know what you're coming in for, what you want to hear. So I create that work. So every move means something. So we don't just move, like there are different styles, technologies to it. People still come up with, there's still new movements are being invented every single day. Someone will come up with a movement and you just name it, or okay, let me give you, let me name one movement that is now, I don't know which style is viral now. Is viral
Dancers in the house.
viral style. Buga. So there's a dance buga. That's that whole thing that they do. This thing is okay, buga. Exactly. So yeah, people come up with all that. But if I want to do, if I'm dancing to tell a story, to communicate, I can't just come here and just be dancing, buga, 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 buga. There's place for it. I have to define to myself, and then probably get some people to respond to it when I move. Their response will not determine what I do next. Their response will not determine where to put the Bugada and all that. So that is like, for me, the process, how I create to get people to understand what I do. Yeah. But majorly it's about storytelling. If you don't tell stories with your movement, then you are just painting, you're before a canvas and doing a lot of things, but you're not saying anything. Yeah. So storytelling is like the what's it called? That's what's the word? That secret, that thing that you need to this thing, and it goes round like it's holistic. Yeah, I feel even if you're a spoken word artist, you don't try to get that storytelling into it. You displace people. Like I work with, I think one of the really renowned poets in Africa. I've been on tour with him. That's Dikechi Meriti. And for me, I consider him as a master storyteller. He tells really good stories. So he doesn't just do spoken word. There's a flow to it. And even life itself, when life is this in your lifeline, you know that it's just too flat, you enjoy it. But life is usually like this. Exactly. And it has a beginning, it has an end, and there's a middle. So yes, that's how I tell my story. And if I put that, anybody can enjoy it.
Okay, so
I don't know if I answered the question.
you did, but I have a follow-up question. At that point in the dance step where you did the whole three-step in, and that is supposed to show the status of government. If I were to take that step and go to which country? Country that is not in Africa. And I do that. Will they also understand it the same way that we in Nigeria would understand it? Will they also interpret it as government?
Yes, they will.
They will. So it needs to be a universal step.
It's a universal language.
It's a universal language that everybody gets.
Yeah.
Or people who are into dance get.
No, everybody.
Everybody.
Yes, everybody.
So what you're saying is that this cannot mean any other thing.
No, it can. That's what I'm saying.
But it has to follow the story. Depending on the beginning of the story, then that would be what it is.
Okay, the way we created this, the way he created, we created this world.
Yeah.
We created this in a way that it can't exist. The components cannot exist on their own without the whole. So if you just pick up that whole, it can mean anything. Alright? But if you do it move from the beginning, then that's what flow with the story. Yeah. But that can hear anything. That's what I'm saying. It's what's your communication, what's your decision, what's your intention and all that. So it's a whole. It's not.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Now, Northern Nigeria is often perceived as too conservative for things like contemporary dance and other forms of modern day entertainment. How has Jump Iowa been able to survive in such a market, and for how long have you been doing so? Okay. Let's forget about the introduction. walking in peace in their neighborhood, stopping and watching the people dance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know how northern Nigeria is,
Mm-hmm.
um, and how conservative they can be.
Yes.
Now, how have you been able to survive in such a market?
Passion.
Okay?
Yes. I would say passion. That passion is because when you're passionate about something, some stuff cease to exist. Yes. So whenever I'm out there, I've already won in my mind. Like, definitely, I will tell you that I started the preparation on that spot. Most times, I do that in the shadows,
Okay.
and then I come out in the open to do it. So already in the shadows, I tell myself, this is what it is, this is what it is, this is what it is, this is who I am. I can change myself. This is what makes me happy, and then I go out there and I put it out there, and I just know that everybody will find. Yeah, okay. Exactly. For me,
So you've not faced any kind of negativity, like serious,
fortunate for me, yes.
okay?
Yes.
And you've always performed in northern Nigeria, other places as well.
Yes. 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 Never. Never. I'm such a dog person. Never. Like, I mean, never. As a matter of fact, I started dancing somewhere after one diaper. So we are thinking that I've done the children thing inside water, thinking that I was swimming and whatever. I read sand. I don't know how many of us can use that water. Oh no, okay, it's fine. So I did all that. I started dancing to the place like Ambangwari, diaper, then how. Why I'm mentioning these places is because the high number of them are people that very deserve to this kind of displays. Yeah.
Yes.
So you know that. But I survived there and never, like, I mean, till date. Yeah, until I know what's going on.
Okay, how recent are we talking about?
That was.
The whole, you did all of this in these places and you survived and there was no issues. Do you think if you were to do it right now today, that the reception will still be the same?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright. I was going to use the question to get you to tell us how long you've been dancing.
Okay.
You know, so we could just answer that now.
Professionally, somewhere around 19 years. Professionally. But I started dancing when I was like 3. Like I mentioned there.
I'm going to say they should clap for you.
Yeah.
But before I say so, please tell us what you mean by professionally. Like you dance and you get money, or
Part of
you
it.
just be invited to go and dance somewhere. Let's know what professionally means in this instance.
Oh, making money out of what you do is also a career. Doing something is now a career is perfect.
So this is the time.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
you can clap for him now.
I know why. I'm not used to do. When I was 3, it's still in cash. So if your definition of professionalism is about money, then you should be over 20. Of course, I'm above 20 and 30. So that I started at 3 and they pay money and I get the money. The money is not as if someone takes the money away. They give me the money, yes, and all that. So that start from that point.
Clap for him again.
I wish you
You know when people are being interviewed on opera, they will now pass there and say, share your success story. They will now say, I was dancing in the bedroom when I was 3 years old. Us two will now have one. You can say, dance and was bring money when you was 3 years old. You have the game. Alright. Moving on. Being an ambassador of K-pop, competing in Korean competitions, and being an educator, is it safe to say you are a fan of Korean pop culture?
An enthusiast.
Enthusiast. Okay. Um, hallyu. Tell us about
Hallyu.
yes.
Okay, simply, hallyu is new K-pop. K-pop is the Korean pop. The new Korean pop. So when you use hallyu, means the new thing that is really about the culture. So they have the old traditional and they have the new. So if you say new, hallyu, anything new about Korean, K-drama, K-pop, cosmetics, all are hallyu because they are the new, they're the new things that were set. They have their own traditional ones that they use, but not so much. The new is, of course, you can't separate the old from the new. Yeah, the old give birth to the new and all that. So it's just the new, K-pop new, whatever it's not K-pop only. K-pop is the music side of it. So Korean culture, the new Korean culture is happening. Okay. The reason why I'm more gravitating towards more of K-pop because that's where that's my specialty. Yeah.
Okay, so what Isaac Jiga is trying to say here is that hallyu can be defined as everything new about Korean culture.
Yeah.
But he's only concerned with K-pop. Okay, noted. Now, tell us how you became entrenched in it.
Okay, so 2015, I was with the, I'm still with, but not fully involved with what they do now due to the purpose. Due to the purpose they gave birth to me and purpose. I was just a dancer who, like I mentioned earlier, who just wanted to find girls on the street. But when I joined the commission, the whole dream of just wanting the girl changed completely. Okay, can you hear me? So everything changed completely. I was like went through the orientation. Normally I wouldn't stay in a place learning one thing over and over for a period of let's say a year and all that. But I went through that training and I was just dance on stage. One year. I didn't dance, like I was just learning, I went through the training and all that. So then I found like purpose. I could do more with this thing that was a tool of getting yes. So yes, that. So they gave birth to the after the orientation I realized that more could be done with this thing. 2015 and then down the line I got tired of just doing this. And all the time is going, I needed to go back to a lot of things, make money, be alright, and all that. Peer pressure, all the things that youthfulness comes with were there. So I needed to just move to do something more. So I went to Lagos to school, giving up the whole thing, the whole purpose thing. I was inside of the purpose thing. I wanted more. I relocated to Lagos. There was when a friend that I called my brother called me to tell me that aside from purpose, you can also be happy with this thing that you do, that you know how to do my superpower. That is my superpower. I didn't mention earlier, but that's my superpower. Yes. So I'm a superman. Okay, so so in Lagos, he called me, and I've never said this to any audience before, but I'll say I dropped out and I came back. There was there was no certainty that I would travel to Korea. But the guy just said, you see this dance that you know how to do. Come, let's participate in this. We just go to Korea. I said, where? Korea. Dance. It wasn't Korea for me. It was dance. Taking you somewhere. Moving you from somewhere to another place. I said, I'm coming. I dropped everything that I was doing at that point, family and everything, I came back to participate in this competition. When I came back home, and we didn't win. I didn't defer my studies. I didn't do anything. I just left it. I dumped my studies. So I couldn't go back. I didn't even ask anything. I said, we'll try it again. We tried to go 3 times. From just coming to go, the cultural exchange among the fellow Nigerians, when I was in that commission, the exchange wasn't so much. What I mean by exchange, we didn't really associate one with other fields that were in existence. We didn't. You get. But on reaching K-pop, the experiences was different from where I was coming from. Now, I'm not saying the place I'm coming from is not a good place. I'm just saying that wasn't they played their part in my life. But moving on, that thing was more for me. That possibility of connecting with another person, sharing different cultural experiences. That was it for me. So K-pop was all that for me. That was the first time I experienced K-pop. And then I said, because of this, meeting other people that I might as well just pay so much money, but it wasn't that expensive. People did it for me, were able to bring these people closer to me instead of me going to them. So we met, we bonded, exchanged contacts, and collaborated after that. We made many creations and all that. When I mean creations, you know what I mean? Yes. So many other creations and all that. And after that, like I said, 4 years after that, I still didn't win. I kept going. Then the last one I won, I went to South Korea. Monaswa. Yes. I went to South Korea. I came back. Now this crew that we took to South Korea was me and my brother. We formed this crew and we give it was so much for us because we give other people who give for dancing. We gave them the opportunity to go to Korea for the first time, to even fly. Some people the first time to enter the plane and all that. So that for me was really a big one. Coming back, now this is my third. But I just thought that the thing we're coming back to is not what my mind has been metamorphosed. So it's not the same thing I want to do again. So I went straight into waking up to create a space that dancers will coexist. I'm called that's John Project, dancers will coexist. That's what it's called. So John Kariwani was named by this guy name. So we sat down, we did a lot of mind game and all that, and then all of a sudden the name came up, and we said, this is it. And till now, I'm still not convinced with the name John Kariwani, even though it sounds nice.
It is a damn good name.
It's a terrible name, yeah?
It's a damn good name.
I still don't like. She said, no, I heard her very well. She said terrible. And when I looked at her again, she now changed it. But yes, I'm still not convinced that that's the name. Moving on.
You want it to be terrible, but it is not. Okay.
Clear.
Let's talk more about this. You and the T-shirt team won the K-pop World Dance Contest 2020.
Yes.
And you all 10 million won.
Oh, 10 million won? Really? I can't remember.
Okay, we do. How has this victory helped T-shirt, and can we expect more wins in the future?
Okay. Well, T-shirt, that's T-shirt.
Who wants to watch the recap?
Do you understand?
Yeah, I think we should play the recap.
Can I say the same thing in another sense?
Okay. So you guys danced.
Yeah.
Somebody say, I like this dance. voted, you won. They gave you people 10 million won. What did you people do afterwards?
Yes, we shared the money. Share the money. We share the money, yes. We share the money. That's basically it. We share the money. Yeah. What else?
Oh, did you decide, let's do it again?
Yes. Okay, so after we shared the money, um, I can't remember. But just know what we shared the money.
I swear. So sorry, all these things that you did
But
about
if
it.
there's anything that you want to, please, if there's anything you want to know about the money, how we treated the money. If there's any other thing you want to know, if we invested the money in another job, or anything, that one you want to hear.
Yes.
So if it relates to that, yes. Or if it's any other, you went there, just leave it. We'll move to the next question.
Okay, so after we won, we shared the money. after, after sharing the money, the vision didn't stop there. We continued up until when we went to Montana Dance Hall, family dance hall. Yeah, we won that. Added to our thing. We performed at few places and all that. We bought costumes. When we got to Korea, we bought costumes to some of the money. And yeah, we made the international passport for those of us that didn't have international passport. I get a sign. And so we gave our parents some money out of it. Yeah, that was it. I opened yes to the just to empower other young dancers, emerging dancers in the community. Yeah, we did that as well.
So I want to do this. Why did you start with share the money? Of course you share the money.
We didn't fight. Even
Because they are shared.
even
Okay. So 10 million won sounds like a lot of money, right? Have you ever been tempted to go to Korea? Just pack your load and go to grow your career where the dance profession is clearly more profitable.
yes, of course. Yeah, that happened many years after 2015. Yeah, after 2015, like this last year when people come to my guy visited from US and decided whispering that to me that you don't belong. Of course, I've been hearing that long before he came back, but he made it more like he really uh, overwhelmed me with that, and I just gave it a thought. Okay, what if I just moved to Korea and all that? I'll be better there. But for me, I'm a Nigerian person. I really love Nigeria. It was a difficult thing for me to move to Abuja because of the MI in Abuja. That's to tell you how much I love Nigeria. So I still don't feel like I want to go. But if I must go to for some people to keep dreaming, then well, since I live for them now, I can't live for people. I have heart for people. So yes, if my moving will keep people that are looking up to me, like they will keep dreaming. And
So it's still in the works. They are still considering it. You can just wake up tomorrow and say, let's do that. Say, that. The Korean.
but the way things are going, I might still not have because I've been my championship. I've been helping other people to do the same thing.
Okay.
So that might still if my guys win this year again, they will go.
Yes.
but we locate it.
You know, when I asked the question about now, the first time you told me about passion and all, but there's just only so much passion can do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really believe in helping more people, do you not think that you have better chances of doing that if you were to leave Nigeria, like go somewhere where there are better opportunities, better support systems, and all of that?
That's me going solo.
No, no, not solo.
That's solo.
It's like, oh, fine, carry two or three people, but shall I leave? You know, so that you can help more, even more people out there. Mm-hmm.
But if out there is not that easy. I've done a lot of research. My friend that was supposed to remain as a dancer, like he right now cannot post anymore. Like this rusty, that rusty. When you get there, the different but like you might because dancing out there still is not lucrative as we yeah we think it is. I've been there once, but it's wise not to go through when you have a lot of examples and then you want to get yeah, when you know there are a lot of examples that you can work with and all that. So yeah, it's not that for me. For me, it's about how can I travel with people? How can I travel with community?
It's not just about you,
It's not
personally.
just about me because going there, I'm a human being. I can go there and see other things and just be part of it. Truth that the truth will not their truth, and you know how tight it can be. You can't just easily be part of it. I can be in that position and remember I'm a prophet. I have to believe what I preach. So if I talk about unity, togetherness, and I go there and I do that. So I'm scared of that kind of possibility. Yeah.
Okay. Now that you talked about being a prophet and leading people, let's move to giving back. Your career spans 18 years or so. I think 19.
It's last 1 year.
And during this time, you have also tried to give back to the community by nurturing the youth. Not everyone believes in giving back, and they are still successful. So why do you do it in a difficult industry like this?
I don't know. Like I really cannot tell why. I can't live without giving back. It is my source of happiness. I try, I try not to. And then sometimes I will look back and look at how many people I'm able to bring up to where I am. And that's enough also thing to say. I'm not doing it again. Like, why would I focus on myself? Even with plenty family now, I still feel like the best thing to do is to give birth. Like, right now, you know what the country is saying. But I'm still thinking of how I can go to Abuja and organize fee classes like fee. I'm excited about it. Someone asked me, what are you getting in return if you invest this much? I said, I don't know what I'm getting in return, but it makes me feel good. And for me, it's about happiness. Yeah, it's about happiness. So that's why I give back because I feel complete when I do that.
Thank you, Jiga. Now, you need to clap. My voice.
Absolutely.
Okay, so people underestimate the need to give back. But then there was a guest again here who summed it up very beautifully and they said we can only fix ourselves, we can only fix our society, we can only fix our community when we give back. That is a game. You don't lose anything by giving back and helping others. Okay. So choreographer, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it right. Can't all dancers choreographer? Or does it take a special kind of skill to create your own dance routine? I mean, doing doesn't being a choreographer also make you an educator, or does it entail more than just picking the right steps or rhythm?
Say it again. Listen again.
This one is long. The race. Um, can't all dancers be called choreographers? Or does it take a special kind of skill to create your own dance routine? Maybe answer this one.
Okay. Dancers, all dancers can choreograph, but not all dancers can come up with a masterpiece.
Okay, so they can just be doing their thing, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Oh, they can put one or two moves together. From the one to then from this guy to this other guy and all that, just bring them together. And yes, choreography, but it takes it's a particular skill that you need or particular place that you need to get to be able to create something that when people see it, they'll say, nah, this thing is perfectly stitched together. Yeah.
So what do I need to do to get to that point where I can say, who said I'm a choreographer?
Okay. So there's this, it's simple. It's one principle that works for all. Mind. The only way you can change things, the only way you can move from here to here is mind. So you have to begin to think like a choreographer. There's a way that choreographers think and all that. So when you change your mind, you change your, I don't know, when you change your mind, you change your, um, you know this. You just change your circumstances. You change your level. You just change things. It starts with the mind and all that. That's the only way. That's the way to conquer a level. If you want to get to this next level, because it starts with dancing for many people. It started with dancing for me, and a lot of dancers here started dancing for most of us, and then we moved to being choreographers. And what just happened is mind change. I want to do this. And I study more on this and look at them and think of how these things are being put together and all that. And then you become, so it's just your mind. You change your mind and you change your place.
Why are people choreographers? Why can't we just dance? Why do you have to come up with create new dance? That's
Please, can you give my Can you say something about this? Yes, please come.
why do we have to choreograph? Why do we have to come up with new dance steps? Why can't we just be dancers? Everybody just be dancers.
Well, when I think about it, there are people that are just dancers. And in fact, there are people that are so professionalized in dancing, even more than choreographers.
Yeah.
You get, there are dancers that can get 15 choreos for one job. Do you understand? And the choreographer will not be able to put together 15 different choreos at the same time. But these dancers are so professional. Okay, choreography basically is being able to um, put together a bunch of dance steps to be able to tell something. That was separates a dancer from a choreographer. A dancer just knows that, yo, I'm just supposed to do this move like this and do it like this. A choreographer will tell you, okay, this move means this and this means that. Exactly. A choreographer is more of a teacher. A dancer is more of a learner. A dancer learns a lot of choreographies and he adds to his own dance vocabulary and helps him become a better dancer. Because but he may not necessarily make the choreographer.
Thank you.
That's nice.
Yeah. Okay, so let me see more. All right. Everyone that has tried to walk a unique or different path has been on the receiving end of dismissive attitudes and statements. You know how came and you told us all these nice things about wanting to give back and how you cannot not give back. Like that is what your entire purpose is all about. That's what makes you happy and all of that. There are people that will look at you and be like, "What is that one? Is that what will fit you?" You know. So how do you deal with statements like that? And does it ever bother you?
Well, yes, I've had people ask me how do I intend to be by just giving back instead of really adding value when it is value. So this thing like invite you, yeah, and all that. I've heard many people ask me how. Uh, well, see, well, last class is this power force that is always there. Because no matter what you do, you can never talk me out from giving back. Never. I've tried to talk myself out from giving back. Never. At all. Yes. Okay, now my friend tried doing something legal. And I know that's going to cost me. I'm going to spend my pocket. And I know, like, but I have to give back to him. I just have to do it. No, many times I come true for him. I'll tell him, I don't want to do this. This is not going to improve me anyway. But I'll do it because of my friend. And all that. So those words don't really get to me. Because if you say them, I try to do that, it will hurt me. I can't leave. It's not possible to leave. So yes, I've heard that, but yeah, they'll hurt or they don't last. Most times they just fly away without me noticing. And then the next time I hear a song, it's gone. I'm off.
You dance
moving.
and you forget.
I forget. That's one thing that dance can do for you. It just takes you into a world that you don't remember negativity and all that.
So we're coming to the end of awards, talks, and other forms of recognition, experience to your work. Are they really enough to keep you going?
Say it again.
Awards, talks, and other forms of recognition. Is this enough to keep you going?
Say it again. In another, like.
What does awards, tours, and other forms of recognition do for you?
Oh no. I really don't know.
Okay. Would you be sad somebody called you to come and receive award?
No.
You said they make me happy now.
Okay, so that's what I'm supposed to say. Yes, why I'm saying that is because I don't think I've ever have this kind of meeting, and then I get to tell you how much I've achieved. And yeah, I don't do that because I just don't think they're necessary. They are necessary, but because
They're not the reason why you take what you do.
yes, they're not the reason why I do what I do. So, but they're cool. They come, okay, just remember that I had an experience somewhere. Like now, I don't know if I can tell you how many awards that I've achieved. And then many of yes, and then fully enough, many of my friends cannot tell you. Sometimes I tell them that, oh, okay, so I want this, oh, really? And yeah, I can't remember how many awards I won. Like right now.
Okay. So let's do this us about Jump Iowa and Jump Thursday? Jump Thursday. Tell us.
Don't Iowa, don't Thursday. Don't Thursday started for Don't Iowa. Don't Iowa, meet Don't Iowa. Okay, Don't Thursday started before Don't Iowa actually. The class started before we went to name it in Abuja, before we traveled. Yes, so I think I mentioned it before that it's just a space where dancers coexist. Yeah, dropping your all that you know, your background, your things, form as an individual, and just live a life as an individual and see how you can connect with other people. Cultural exchange, basically, and all that. So that's it.
Okay. All of this does not tell me if I want to come to Jump Iowa, to Jump Thursday, for instance. So Jump Thursday, if I want to understand that from the name, it means something happens every Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I need to do in order to belong?
You just come.
And what
Come
next?
as
What? And then what happens?
When you
Why
come as well.
should I carry money in my pocket because of pay entry fee? Should I get registration, or will I just come and I'll just start dancing because music is playing, or somebody is there to welcome me? You know, what is a total stranger supposed to expect if they walk into the Jump Thursday thing?
It's a total dance experience.
Okay.
The total dance experience. When you walk in, you just come and experience dance completely. So if you tell me, okay, I just want to come and participate, I want to be part of it, then I'll take you through the
Yes,
process.
yes.
Okay, so if you want to participate, you just come and you meet somebody at the gate, you collect the details, and then you go into the floor and learn from whoever is sharing. That's as simple as that.
If I want to learn how to dance now, could you say I should come here?
Yes, please.
And I'll learn.
Yes, like okay, this guy, and a few other guys connected there, and they went ahead to win people. Yeah, so that's the kind of possibility that
That
can
is waiting for me.
and so there are thousands and thousands of things you can do with that connection.
So, let me answer.
I said it used to be a social thing, but now it's enterprise.
Okay.
So what the nature of it now will be social enterprise.
I understand that completely.
And just because people now, where we used to use, we pay almost nothing to use the place, but now it's more, we pay more to use the place.
You have to
So
run that place with something.
exactly. So that support is not more there. So we need a form of idea to keep the thing running, keep the passion running.
Alright, so final question before I take a few questions from the audience because we need to run. Dance on that day today. When can we look forward to your next show, or are you working on another award-winning routine to capture the international Korean audience?
Yes. I'm winning another K-pop competition.
Okay.
In a few days.
In a few days.
In a few days this spring. And then hopefully when we meet here again, I'll be the I'm so positive about it.
So if we want to follow this, what do we do? If we want to make sure that
Korean Cultural Center, Nigeria, you find all the information.
all the information there.
Yeah.
Alright, for more information, to see this guy win something, not tell us the name, in a few days, Korean Cultural Center, Nigeria.
K-pop. Yeah, we can just hashtag K-pop Nigeria.
Hashtag K-pop Nigeria.
The contest, if any of you happens to be in Abuja, July 22nd. If you can come, free access and all that. You get to see a lot of amazing dancers jumping up and down on the stage.
Nice.
Full up and down though, organized up and down.
Okay, so I would be remiss not to mention that there is somebody who wanted to come here today and challenge you.
Oh,
She had been practicing for weeks. Her name is Yusra, young teenager. And then yesterday she went to school and test.
oh.
Today she's lying down, and instead of her to worry about the headache and all that is wrong with her body, she's worried that all her dance steps have gone in vain. She told me that me I should postpone this event so you come next month so that she'll be here. Okay, so this shout out to Yusra. We're sorry about your illness. Don't worry, we'll find Isaac Jiga for you whenever you are ready for the challenge. Alright. So thank you so much. Before I close, is there any questions that we want to ask Isaac?
Hey.
Okay. Hello Isaac.
Hi.
It's nice meeting you.
My pleasure.
In fact, it's amazing meeting you.
Thank you.
I love dances. I was just telling my friends outside that, no, I don't know how to dance. But in my mind, I'm a very good dancer. Plus, I do this thing. If I see someone dancing, I'm able to tell if the person is dancing well or not. See, I'm a good dance preaching. So
Yeah.
I'm not a good dancer.
Okay.
So, do you do something else apart from dancing? I know this is your passion, this is what you kind of live for. Do you do anything else to keep you going like you asked? I just thought if you really didn't get the question, do you do other things to support yourself apart from everything about dance?
Mm, yeah, I just started.
Sorry?
I just started doing other things.
Mm,
Yes.
okay.
So my state of mind right now is skill stacking over I only have issue with specialization or whatever they call it. How
Specialization?
is this specialization?
Yeah.
Like so specialize on one particular thing.
Sure,
So
yeah.
for me it's skill stacking over
Every other.
specialization. Yes. Now that I'm talking about the now context, what the world has become and all that. So yes, people out there, of course, if we have people watching us,
True.
I am of that opinion. We learn as much as we can learn. We have been given power, like there's so much power available that one can learn other things and still keep his passion going. At the same time, there's the word for passion.
True.
People talk a lot about what you expect out of it. But trust me, no passion, people still pay for their passion out there. So yeah.
I can
Passion
actually
is
relate.
golden.
My passion to is keeping me going, even though I'm not dancing. But the love I have for it is keeping me going.
Yes, so I'm learning photography.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I'm learning
cool.
photography for guys. I'm learning graphic design, and I hope to learn how to make. It's Young photography. You find him on this.
Wow.
He's an amazing guy. Yeah, I'm learning photography, videography, and graphic design with a bunch of talent. And then this guy, I'm learning how to make ovenware. Learning how to make yeah
That's so
clothes
cool.
and all that. Yeah.
Okay, my last question. Sorry. So I know everyone is trying to bring something new to the table, right? All the time. We have different dancers with different dancing skills. In fact, amazing dancing skills. So what do you do to keep yourself afloat? How do you keep up?
How do I keep up?
Yes.
I go back to the roots. I go back to feed on the younger ones. Simply what I do. Yeah, like my contemporaries are very few. Most of them don't do it that much because of responsibilities. So what's have been doing for ages is go back to those guys, learn their move, jump like them, and all that. So I feel youthful, I feel creative, I feel like a child, and that's why if you go to my page now, you see a baby. I call myself childish because that's the only way of
Yeah.
always remember, always have this childish mentality and all that, carefree, you know what, I don't know if I'm bigger than you, I've won, awards, I've won and all that, I don't care, I just want to dance, that's your response. So that's how I, I, yeah, I see forever. So I'm hoping that that's why my project now is more to children. So children can pass it to the next children and all that. Yeah, so that's the prayer.
Sorry, I have I've seen people dance like started from gigs to see Michael Jackson and we and here you are teaching us dance that is not just dance, that is speaking. Like even with your dance steps, like do you have languages for these things? Like earlier you asked if this means government everywhere universal. I mean, if I learn these words from him now, if I see another dancer, would it mean the same thing to him?
Okay, I think I said that earlier. It depends on this.
I wanted to answer, but
Okay.
No, your question was more like a word thing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What I'm saying now is we have sign language. Yeah, we have sign language. If I learn it from here, if I go to Korea or anywhere, to me the same thing. Is it the same or something?
Okay, so what we did, you can call it wordplay. Wordplay, because we were trying to play with words and all that wordplay. Now, if you go to Korea, there's a way you can create flow because there's also language barrier. So there's a way you can do it, and so dance is emotional. You can use emotions, and emotions are the same. Like, alright. So if I cry, I cry, and all that. So I can use those things to tell. You know how I would say, there are some things that you say, and then you know that the next thing has to be this. That's the kind of flow. You just say something, and you just guess that this next thing is this. Even if the data is not there, a writer will write a whole book, and maybe publisher error will happen, and then the place there's nothing, it's just an empty space. And then you just know that it has to be here. Something, So that's the kind of thing we do. So if you have the beginning, the middle, and before, prior to the end, you just know that this is what it is. So that's what we do. We like taking a journey, and so that person might want to say, this is not level. I'm trying to say, this is calm down. So in one other interpretation of the same song, of another song, the guy did, baby, calm down, calm down. So that's the same calm down. But we were not saying, this is calm down here. We're saying, this is levels to this thing, government level. So it depends on your context and what you're trying to say. But the same move can work for another and all that. Yeah. I don't know.
my name is Kawa. Actually, months before you came, I watched the video competition that I won 2020. And I saw the video and I was like, oh, all the rest of the dancers are just like, I'm just doing this for fun. All the other videos are like, I don't care. Just dancing. For you people are dancing. Wait, I watched each video like every other show. And yours looked to me, maybe when you came to the radio, I thought it was a radio. It's, I immediately recalled BTS song Fire. I was like, hey, probably you saw this, this move from Sugar when you came in with radio, that video and all of that. Yeah, was nice. I thought I didn't know you sit down. Okay, and I really like this video. Like, how many things was it before you actually got this? Maybe to like. And then how did you form your group?
Okay, seesaw. Now, like I said, seesaw existed before we finally won that competition, and we had in that very one we had additional guys. We had to bring in other guys to join us to do that thing. But yes, when my brother told me about it, so he was always there doing that, and I've always been a choreographer for him. Like he would just say, you got do this thing, and I'll choreograph and all. So he suggested it, like, oh, so this competition is up. Do we want to go for it? I was like, okay, let's give it a try. He sent me a song. So there were options. One of the options is to either do it, learn, cover the dance, like vocabulary by vocabulary, wordplay by wordplay, concept by concept. Like you have to do it the way it is. So that option was there, and then another option is do your thing. And at that point, I was already convinced with myself that I'm a world-class choreographer. So I said, I can do better and I can win this contest. Meanwhile, that contest is like one of the hardest contests in the world because how many countries? About 5 American from US from I think participants from US that were selected were 4 participants from US and we came first. So that point, I thought of all that and I said, no, that's not how I want to approach it. I want to approach it differently. I want to go back to old school. I want to put those chairs. I want to go around chairs and you try to sit and there's no chair for you. I just want to go back to those days where just go back to me, my childhood and all that. That was the decision. And I said, how best can I depict this? So I went straight up to, you know what, we create our thing and then find a way to bring in BTS, do their little calls, and that was how I created. And usually the way I create for me is I like thinking everybody. So my crew members, I said, you're going to do this for me, do this for me, do this time for me, because I want different energy. And it was these decisions that made up the whole routine and the same decisions that made us to win. And till now, I think that thing is still the best. And then this guy did justice to it. He did the video in. You saw those camera movements, like they boom. In the center, when I went to the center, so when I went to the center, what happened was, they asked me, oh, where's the video guy?
Yes.
Like, talk about me. Where's the video guy? See, they still talk about the video guy. A lot of the comments under it, a lot of credits were attributed to the video guy. They just. So that was how we created the movie. We got our people together, young guys. We won. Yeah, we didn't do so much, but they loved us. Till now, we're still winning the war. Last year we won again. So yeah, we're putting Kaduna on the map gradually.
Woo!
Did I answer?
Okay, so we are stuck here with rain, so if you should just calm down. We are trying to watch the video again. Let's see if we can play. No understand.
Okay, let me get started.
Okay, first thing, I'm so sorry. I'm getting to know you today.
Yes, sir.
I have histories to go through. I will see a video. This is the guy to talk about videos. He loves transitions like mad. Oh wow, he loves transitions like mad. Another thing, I saw this transition in dance the other time, switching out. That was bad.
Wow, thank you.
How about words? I would.
Thank you.
Okay, so from what I gathered, you are down to earth.
Yes, sir.
Not just down to earth. You're about your art.
And something we've noticed about artists is they're so involved with their art that they forget about other aspects. And this is more, I don't know exactly what it is for you right now, how much you're pushing into the business. It's more as an advice and question if you have a business aspect of it. Now, you can't focus way too much on the arts and forget the business aspect. But the honest truth is, artists are used so much by the system that they miss out on how much you actually enforce change. As much as I've heard so much about how you want to enforce that change. If you want to do things free, you need to see the business aspect of it, bringing in more money so you can do more. So this is where I'm already putting that now in the market. Yeah. So like, what are those things you do? Forgive me, I'm not going to start my business, but what's your business drive? To say that like, there should be a lot of it, because there should be brands, there should be what do you call it? Help me out here. When somebody come and say, I will give you money to promote something. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. Promotion. Yes, those are parts of it, but there are also businesses that also just make sure you stay afloat and also do other things. What are those businesses you actually push?
Okay, so my drive presently, like I said, before it was social stuff, but now I'm trying to add enterprise to the social nature of things for me. So now this is how for me it flows. There's art, there's market, there's the end of it is industry. The end of it is industry. So now I'm trying to really market my art. Yeah, so something to start coming in. And one thing that I think we're discussing with him that we would like to do is to really uh, invest in YouTube, like invest our time in YouTube. There's nothing wrong being YouTuber. So being YouTube person is